Last time a Monster Truck Havoc, Matt Cheever and Gravedigger the Legend took up the racing win. Will he be able to do it again? Find out next. We are finally back for another exciting event of Monster Truck Havoc out on the track. It's been a while. Last time we had an event out here was in February, and then we had the World Finals. April was a little bit of a break month, but now we are back on the track. We have a bunch of new trucks debuting for this event right here. We are getting a fresh start right at it here tonight with the point series back up on the line. Multiple trucks are out here. You can see these two right here are 1 and 2 on points, fighting for it currently still. They have been extremely consistent throughout the whole season in the two events we've had. And now it comes down to this event to determine which of them will have the lead going into this, or will someone else come up and take the lead. Matt Cheever and Gravedigger the Legend is your defending champion. He has been extremely dominant lately, but Aiden Richards in horsepower, he is sitting in number 1 of the point standings right now. And Sparkle Smash, she just won LCQ, so she's someone to look out for. In the bracket, Thunder Roars takes on Dalmatian, Swamp Thing takes on Iron Man, Monster Mutt Rottweiler takes on Sparkle Smash, Avenger takes on Black Pearl, Monster Mutt takes on Horsepower, Cyclops takes on Gravedigger, Bad Company will take on Son of a Digger, and Megalodon will finish it out, taking on El Toro Loco. Elias Salario, the 2025 Freestyle Champion, is going to take on Kevin Anderson in Monster Mutt Dalmatian Ice. Kevin sits in 3rd place in the series points, and Thunder Royce is not too far behind. I believe he is on the first page of points. Cannot name the number, but he's up there. For our first race tonight, let's get the line green. Let's go. Both trucks are even going down. It's going to be close, and I think Elias Salario will take the victory here tonight. Moving on, and of course, if that's the case, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, the points are not going to play out. That is 1 point added to Monster Mutt Dalmatian's total if Elias just beat him there. And of course, being in 3rd, that's going to send him down a lot of places. You can see, if we watch the replay, it does look like Thunder Roars took the racing win here. But Monster Mutt Dalmatian didn't have the greatest jump, and yes, Thunder Roars will be called the winner by the officials. And Dalmatian had a little bit of a lead. It was very even, but the ramp is what decides it all around here, and the landing off that ramp. So unfortunate for Dalmatian, that's going to hurt his points total a lot. But Elias Salario will move on to round 2. Jevin Woodrow and Swamp Thing, a man who has been looking for a title for a long time, will take on the man who has really came out of nowhere recently. Thomas in Iron Man has been on fire lately. He got to the finals last time, which is something we don't see from this truck much. It just popped out of nowhere. He had a tough wreck in the first preseason, and now he's back out here now in the 3rd event of the season, trying to pick up a win against Swamp Thing. It's going to be close. Swamp Thing with the early lead, and they are side by side the entire way down. That was an extremely close race, and I'd like to see that again in the photo finish form of it, because that was an extremely side-by-side race, and if I had to guess, I'd say Swamp Thing took up the win, but that's nothing for me to decide. The ones at the finish line are going to have to make that call. It's an extremely close race. It's too close to call right here in the booth. Hopefully we will get a photo finish, and yes, we will. Your winner out of the far lane is Thomas O'Connor in Iron Man. Anna Blank, the 2025 Last Chance Qualifier champion, will take on a man who is looking like having the best chance of winning this right now. A brand new truck under this guy. Monster Mutt Rottweiler is back with that 3D body, and we're going to see how it plays against the Last Chance Qualifier champion. Caden has an extreme lead, and no thanks to the barrel rolls from Sparkle Smash over there in the far lane. You can see those trucks loving doing those rolls and flips and everything like that. And also, don't forget the Rottweiler in the other lane. He is also upside down on his lid. Easy win for Caden Wilson there. Of course, Sparkle Smash not with the greatest of luck. There you can see just some mistakes up there something happened. Looks like the front wheels may have came up a little bit on that ramp and it just sent her forward. And that is not what you want to happen during a race. Luckily, you know, she gets style points. Because why not? Kenna Wilson moves on to the next round. Jimmy Ferguson in Avenger will take on Andy Lasewski back in the square body Black Pearl. This is going to be a decent race if I had to guess myself. Of course, that beautiful Chevy body is back, and another Chevy body, Avenger, is ready to go racing here tonight. 2 independent trucks, let's go. It's going to be side by side the whole way down. It's going to be close, but I think Black Pearl may have edged out Avenger, not by much, but it looked like that he did get the win there. That was an extremely close race, an extremely clean one at that, and it did look like Black Pearl took home the racing win, but not by much over Jimmy Ferguson in Avenger. As we check the replay here, you can just see how close that race was. They were even the whole way down, and the jump is what decided it. It just looks like, yep, Black Pearl has a little bit more of the advantage, and he will move on to round 2 over Jimmy Ferguson in Avenger. Tough luck for Bones here tonight, getting eliminated in round 1. He has had a very high total in points. But speaking of points, Mr. Number 1 in points, the stuntman himself, Aiden Richards in horsepower, is back on the track, and this race matters for him because if he loses, that lead is going away because Matt Cheever has a bye run into the next round, and whoever wins this race will face Matt Cheever in the next round. Horsepower with the early lead. He's going to go down, and he's going to get the win with ease here tonight. Aiden Richards will move on to face Matt Cheever in Gravedigger the Legend in a grudge match race for the title of points. You can see Monster Mutt, unfortunately, not having the greatest performance, still getting that truck broken in. Of course, Spanky is a new driver out here. He just debuted in preseason, and you know that truck just not what he wanted to do. He's new to the truck. The truck's new to the track. It's just not going to be a good combination, and the truck's still got to get broken in. So once that happens, I'm sure we'll have a lot faster times. But it's being set down by Spanky. But Aiden Richards will move on to the next round in that grudge match race we're going to see in round 2. That's going to be an exciting one to watch. But another race that's going to be exciting to watch is going to be Brooks Chastain and Gravedigger will take on Noah Brady and Cyclops. These two have been overlooked in the racing competition. These two are two fast competitors. Of course, they haven't been doing too good in points, but you can see they're going down. It's going to be close, and I do not know what just happened. That was a wild save out of Gravedigger there. It was on the roof and just pulled it out onto all 4 BKTs, and Cyclops is just upside down. That was a chaotic race at most there. You can see both trucks go down. It was even, and then at the jump, Gravedigger starts to pull out, and then he pulls out an amazing save. Too bad it's not a freestyle competition, or that would probably take the lead, but Gravedigger, it looks like, will move on to the next round of racing here today, and indeed he will. Noah Brady and Cyclops is knocked out early. To end out round 1, Joey Andrews in Bad Company will take on Nugget and Son of a Digger. These two are both one-time shootout champions. So, Bad Company in the far lane will take on a brand new Son of a Digger, that brand new purple paint scheme and brand new chassis right there. This is going to be a good race, though. Here we go. Both trucks are going down. It's going to be a close one, but Bad Company will be able to edge out Son of a Digger. Not by much, and it looked like that was a pretty good pass for both trucks. But, of course, it's a brand new truck for Son of a Digger. He's still got to get used to it, and the truck's got to get used to the track, so you can't blame him for losing there. If this was maybe the 7th race for that truck, he may have had the win in the bag. Joey Andrews and Bad Company putting down a really good race. You can see he gets an amazing pass, slows it down towards the end. Of course, both do. And they both make it to the finish line, but Bad Company makes it there first, and he will move on to round 2. And when I said we were ending out round 1, I fixed my mistake. This is the race that ends out round 1. Megalodon Fire will take on El Toro Loco. And you can see he's got the ice paint scheme rocking it for this event. And Megalodon, you can see in the near lane, Megalodon Fire is looking clean, fire and ice early here on the track to end out round one. Both trucks are headed down. Megalodon with the early lead, but El Toro Loco will edge him out at the last second. Meg had the lead going into the jump, but of course that jump and the landing out of it is what settles everything. You can see they come down. It was side by side. Meg pulls the lead, but the ramp is what separates them, and El Toro Loco is able to pull through and take that early racing win to move on to round two. Megalodon is at the bottom half of points right now. Of course, that is not what he wanted a round one loss. Unfortunate for him, but as we look at our round two bracket, Racing Stripes takes on Thunder Roars. Lucas Stabilizer takes on Iron Man. Monster Mutt Rottweiler takes on Bertha. Bog Hog takes on Black Pearl. Gravedigger the Legend takes on Horsepower. Radiator takes on Gravedigger. Jester takes on Bad Company. And Max D will take on El Toro Loco to end it out. Elias Salario will take on Alex Richards. And of course, Alex has won this competition in the past, but will he be able to do it again? Of course, we got a freestyle champion and a racing champion coming against each other here tonight. They're heading down. It's going to be Alex with a huge lead, and he rolls over and gets an amazing save, but that may have cost him the whole race. Alex had that race bagged up and ready to go. That order was set on to go, but then they messed it up, and that is how the cookie crumbles. You can see the truck. Just watch the replay. Look at the lead he had. That was about 1.5 trucks, you could say, and then the truck rolls over. He pulls out the save, but unfortunately, it's not about the saves in this competition. I think Elias just got a second life in the racing competition, but Will Alex just had enough. Thunder Roars gets the second life. He's moving on. Thomas and Iron Man takes on Spooky. What could be the last ride for Spooky in Lucas Stabilizer. Of course, a new truck is scheduled to come in for this guy soon. But he had a backflip set down. Both of these competitors laid down a backflip last time on the track. So we're going to see what they can do this time. It's going to be Spooky with the early lead, and he is going over with a pretty bad tumble there, and Iron Man will get the win. Of course, Spooky, you just saw him take that barrel rolling crash. Of course, that's not what you want to do. Of course, if this is the last race for Lucas Stabilizer, that's a great way to send it out. Unfortunately, that is how the race will end for Spooky and the Lucas Oil team. The truck goes down. You can see he had the lead, but he just gets sideways on that landing, and that is what caused him to roll over. Of course, the landing matters just as much as the jump with these diecast trucks because there's not really much suspension on these trucks. They just wobble around in the axle, and you can see the truck has some damage. There's a piece that has fallen off. We've gotten the truck off the ramp, and now we're going to have to roll over Lucas Oil Stabilizer. The team is struggling to flip the truck over. Here it goes. There goes Stabilizer. Of course, not much damage done to it. You can see a stack has just fallen off of that left side. Easy to repair. That is unfortunate for Lucas Stabilizer. Caden Wilson, the man who has a brand new truck, will take on another truck, and I would argue to say one of the best looking trucks on this field. I mean, just look at this Bertha. You can't tell me it doesn't look good. But there's a really fast truck in the other lane, so it's going to be tough to see who can take the win. Both trucks are going down. It's going to be Caden with the early lead, and he will carry it all the way through. He will move on, and I think that brand new truck is working out good for him. He's had a good amount of practice. He is one of the most experienced drivers on this track. He's one of the most winningest drivers, if not the winningest driver on this track. And man, he just set down a great pass. He's going to be the one to beat tonight next to Aiden Richards in horsepower. And you can see that was an extremely fast time. Of course, that brand new Bertha, you still got to get everything settled out. The truck's got to get used to the track. The driver has got to get used to the truck. And that is just how it's going to end there. Moving into our next race, Andy Waseski in Black Pearl will be taking on Cody Prevet in the Bog Hog. Bog Hog has yet to win a race out here. From preseason to now, he has not won a single race, which is unfortunate. Will he get it this time? Both trucks are going down. It looks like Black Pearl with the early lead. And Black Pearl makes a mistake and drives straight into the wall. And I'm pretty sure, most likely, that will result in the first win on the channel for Bog Hog. Unfortunately, you can see Black Pearl just drifted onto that right side wall. That's not what you want to see during a racing competition. He just landed wrong and drove straight into the wall. And then Bog Hog will take the win. He will move on to round 3. You'll love to see a brand new competitor getting a win out here on the track. But this race is for all the marbles. The points championship is on the line. Aiden Richards and Horsepower will take on Matt Cheever and Grave Digger the Legend. Number 1 is the man you're looking at right now, and number 2 is the man in the other lane. Only I believe 2 points separate these people. Who's going to get the win moving on to the next round? It's going to go down in an insane wreck for Aiden Richards and Horsepower, and I think he got the win. Of course, both trucks end up on their side. That was an insane wreck. Aiden Richards just had a tumble. That's why we call him the stunt man. That was an amazing race, and I do believe that Aiden will get the win. That means, yep, he will. Aiden Richards will take the win, and that means that he will defend his points title, and he will stay in the lead now, but it depends on how much will he extend that points lead. Brooks Chastain in Gravedigger takes on what I would like to call the best looking truck on this field. A brand new Radiator is out here on the track. You can see, of course, you've seen the square body version of this truck race on Backyard Jam over in the UK, but now we have another body and it's ready to race here. It's going down and wow. Not terrible. That was a good pass right there. And of course, clean the whole way down. I'm not sure what to say though. Anyways, Gravedigger with a pretty good pass right there. That was clean for both drivers. Of course, you can see go down. Gravedigger pulls the lead, and that's disappointing. We're not going to worry about that, though. We're just going to pass this on, and we'll get to the next race with Johnny Retlaw and Jester, a 2-time shootout champion, will take on Joey Andrews in Bad Company. You can see Jester with that brand new truck that debuted in World Finals High Jump. And Bad Company in the other lane, he has been pretty dominant lately. So we're going to see what he can do. Going down, it's going to be a close race, and I don't know. Bad Company had the lead until he turned into the wall when a car comes out. Car comes out stuck from beside that ramp, and I don't even know who took the win there. Of course, Bad Company, you saw it. He had a pretty decent pass, but then he turned to the right, which may have led Jester to be able to catch up there. Is it? Nope, it's not enough. Bad Company will still take the win, moving on to the next round. Moving on to our next competitor to end out round 2. Peanut in the brand new Maximum Destruction will take on El Toro Loco. You can see Ice is back on the track in another fire and ice battle, including El Toro Loco. So I'm excited to see how this race plays out. Will the rookie take down the veteran, or will the experienced man take down the newcomer? This is going to be a close race, and it's going down. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe El Toro Loco just beat Max D upside down. That's not something you see every day. Of course, Max D, he's a champion out here. Not a world champion yet, but he has won multiple titles out here. And you can see, unfortunate for him, but El Toro Loco wins it upside down. Somehow, he does it, but El Toro Loco will move on to round 3 over Peanut and Max D. That's wild to see out here, upside down victory. For our round 3 bracket, Thunder Roars takes on Iron Man, Monster Mutt Rottweiler will take on Bog Hog, Horsepower takes on Gravedigger, and Bad Company will take on El Toro Loco. Thunder Roars, he had an amazing World Finals competition, will take on Iron Man, who made it to the finals last time. Will he be able to make it to the semi-finals this time? Iron Man has been a pretty dominant competitor recently. Will he be able to take the win over Thunder Roars, or will Elias be able to pull it out over Iron Man? Of course, you can see Thomas taking the early lead, and it's going to just get left to him to take it. And of course, Elias getting left out in round 3. Not a terrible event for him, but Iron Man will move on to the semifinals competition. You can see from the start, Iron Man had that lead, and he carries it out through the whole thing there. That is where it ends for Elias Salario and Thunder Roars, excuse me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Iron Man will move on to the next round to face the winner of this one. Caden Wilson will take on Cody Privet. Excuse me. If Bog Hog wins this race, that will be an extreme upset. But Caden has looked extremely dominant, and he's my prediction to win this race. But who will we see? Of course, Caden is pulling away, and that was probably the biggest gap we've ever seen. Not to take anything away from Cody, but, you know, that truck, I don't think it's him. I think it's the truck. Something is just not right with that truck, and it never has been. We should maybe try to break out a new truck for that guy when we bring out Spooky's new truck. And with that, Monster Mutt Rottweiler is now in the semis competition here. That will give him a chance at another win. But a man who is looking for another win, Adam Richardson Horsepower, will take on Brooks Chastain, a Gravedigger, who has had a really good event today. He's had a really good event, making it all the way down to round 3. Will he be able to make it to the semis, or will Aiden Richards take that away? Aiden Richards takes the early lead, and Gravedigger just had a violent tumble. I don't even know what to call that. That looked very, very painful. I don't really know what to say, but Aiden Richards will take the win, moving on to the semifinals, and I'm not really sure what happened there to Gravedigger. Of course, he got a little bit bobbled up on that outside thing and then just tumbles. That truck looks like it could be destroyed after this. Brooks could be a little bit shaken up, but I'm sure he'll be okay and he'll be able to return next time. But Aiden Richards will take the win, moving on to the next round. These two are in contention for a semifinals appearance. Of course, both of them I don't think they've ever been in the semis here before. Of course, Bad Company, he's been pretty dominant today, but so is El Toro Loco. Who's going to take this win? That's the question. Moving on, it's going to be even. It looks like Bad Company, but he took a that was a pretty hard tumble there. And that may have decided the race for El Toro Loco, but he may have just broken it out in the end, and it may just have not mattered there for El Toro Loco, because it looked like Bad Company took the win there. You can see just an amazing pass there, amazing jump. Not the greatest landing, but yes, Bad Company will take the win. He will move on to the semifinals here tonight. El Toro Loco will be unfortunately taken down in that beautiful ice body. And here's our semis lineup. Iron Man will take on Monster Mutt Rottweiler, and Horsepower will take on Bad Company. Iron Man looking to get another finals appearance, but the man who stands in his way is the winningest driver in the history of this channel. Caden Wilson in Monster Mutt Rottweiler has a brand new chassis under that body, and he knows what he's got to do. He's got to make it to the finals, and he's ready to. Both drivers are going down. It's going to be a close one, but not close enough. Caden Wilson moves on to the finals here tonight. Of course, Iron Man, he would have had a great pass if he would have had a great pass, and he would have won a bid into the finals if he would have raced anybody other than Caden Wilson, or maybe anybody other than Ada Richards and Caden Wilson. But That's unfortunate for him. He still placed really well, and he gets a bye into the third place race. And the loser of this race will take on Iron Man in the third place race. Will it be a Bad Company who has looked surprisingly dominant here? Or will it be Aiden Richards in horsepower? Joey Andrews has a tough competitor lined up next to him. But I think he can do it here tonight. We're going down. Aiden Richards pulls a huge lead, and that's the end of it. That is where it's going to end. The third place race is going to be Bad Company and Iron Man. But in the finals is Monster Mutt Rottweiler in horsepower. You can see launching across the track, horsepower with one of the fastest times of the night. That truck has been extremely dominant lately, and now he has made it into his first ever finals appearance. But the man who is in the other lane is someone to beat. But before we get to that, let's take care of this third place race. Thomas in Iron Man will take on Joey in Bad Company. These two have been pretty dominant tonight, so we're going to see who will take third place and get the amount of 22 points, and the other one will be left with 21. Both trucks are going down. It's going to be close, but both trucks spun out a little bit, but I think Bad Company got the better of it, and that looks like that means he will get third place here tonight. That was a wild race. Iron Man just hard right there for him. It just slams it right, and yes, Bad Company does get the win. He will move on, or excuse me, he's not moving on. He just gets third place. 22 points for his total, but now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. The racing finals are now. Caden Wilson and Monster Mutt Rottweiler will take on Aiden Richards in horsepower. Both these drivers know each other well, and they are ready to go racing. Who will take? Will Aiden be able to get his first, or will Caden get another one? It's going to be a close race, and I'm not quite sure if I want to call it now. And that was a great race for both these competitors, and Aiden was all over the place there. He had an extremely fast pass, but he was all over. You can see, just watch this replay. He got the jump, landed on the rear, gets some nice air, flips it over. I'm not sure who to call it as, but we will get the official call soon. And the official call is Aiden Richards in horsepower. He has taken his first ever win on the track. Of course, Caden with an extreme upset there. You can see he was dominant tonight, but not dominant enough. And with that win, horsepower with it will extend his lead by a ton of points. Congratulations to these three on getting first, second, and third. Let's take a look at the points here tonight. You can see towards the bottom half, you got all these drivers. You can see, seeing Jester down here. He's a former points champion. It's not what you normally see. And then we got Max D, Swamp Thing, and Avenger, who have moved down a ton since the last event, and Dalmatian moves down to 10th. But horsepower extends his lead by 19 points. Gravedigger the Legend still in second. And man, what an event we had tonight. This one really shook up the points standings, and that will conclude it all. All of the action will be wrapped up here tonight. I appreciate you guys for coming out, and I want to see you guys next time in the next Monster Truck Havoc.